Well, hello. Welcome. Today we are going to start on our backs, so feel free to lie down and get nice and comfortable there. You might need a cushion under your head or something to support you. Otherwise, just lie down flat on the back and you can feel yourself sinking down into the mat, into the floor, and starting to relax a little bit, center a little bit. Just getting away from the thoughts from the day and from the action of the day, and just taking these few minutes to soften everywhere in the body and to calm the mind. So again, just allow yourself to sink down, feel a little bit heavy into the floor. It will hold you. And see if you can just bring your focus a little bit to the breath. And close your eyes. Just allow the breath to really fill up the whole body, the torso. You'll feel some expansion in the rib cage as you inhale. And then just let everything let go on your exhale. Nice, smooth, long breaths. Now it's hard to say empty the mind because we always have thoughts in our mind. But if you do have a thought that comes in, see if you can allow it to just float away as soon as it comes to you. And then if another thought comes in, inhale, and on that exhale, let it float away. So that nothing is really sitting in the mind for too long. Allow the thoughts to flow just like the breath is. So wherever you are at on your backs, if your knees are not bent, let's have them bent and have the feet flat on the floor. And just see if you can lengthen the spine a little bit. Just tucking that tailbone slightly and sliding it down, lifting up the head and sliding it the other way so that you can really let the back settle. Good. Now we're going to reach our arms up towards the ceiling and then just create some cactus arms. So take the elbows down to the ground and then see if you can drop the hands back. Good. So already you might be feeling a little bit of opening across the chest and across the shoulders. Those elbows should be about shoulder height and on the ground. Now just take a breath or two here to feel some of this opening right across the top of the body here, across the chest all the way to the elbows. Good. And now we're just going to simply lift the arms and bring the forearms close together, maybe bringing the palms and the elbows, the forearms, right together so they're touching. And then open them again to the floor. Good. Let's lift again. Bring them together. And then open the arms back to the floor. Let's use our breath. So exhale, lift the arms and bring the arms together. Inhale, drop them down. Exhale, take the arms together. And inhale, open. Good. Exhale, bring them up. And inhale, open. Let's just do one more. Exhale, bringing the arms together. And then open, take them back down. Good, and then reach the arms overhead. And just get a nice stretch here through the arms. You can wiggle the fingers. You can turn the wrists and bring the arms back. And then just take them down to the ground. And let's just do a little swish of the knees, side to side. Good. And when you're doing this, you're just allowing the legs to really kind of flop to each side, right? Allowing a little bit of lift in the hip and the glute. Good. Nice. Okay, so back to center. Let's take the arms up towards the ceiling again. And this time you're going to bend them and just hold on to your elbows. Good. Okay, and we just did a little swish of the knees. We're going to do the same with the arms and put them together. So just drop your knees over to the right and let the arms fall over to the left, taking the gaze with you. And you can feel a little bit of a twist and a stretch here. And then bring everything up to the center and just drop the legs over to the left and the arms over to the right. Again, just feeling a little bit of the weight of the legs and a weight of the arms over to the side. Back to center, legs right, arms left. Back to center, legs left, arms right. Lifting up and down and up and down. Let's again use the breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So keep it this pace if you like, or if you want, you can speed it up a little bit. Allowing everything to just rock side to side, feeling a little bit of loosening in the shoulders and the hips. Good. Keep breathing. Good. And then come back to center. And let's just give those knees a hug. Good. You might rock again. And you might even lift up the head towards the knees just to get a nice stretch here. Good. Okay, let's take the head down. And let's take the left foot down. And we're just going to do a couple of circles here with the right leg. Opening up out to the side, back, and up to the chest. Nice and big here. Good. Okay, so now we're going to hug the knee in, and we're going to open up the leg and get into a little bit of a hip opener. So you're holding the knee here. Just take it out to the side a bit, and take your left hand to your right foot. And you may just hold here and put a little bit of pressure in that leg just to open up the hip a little bit. You just go as far as you can and keep this right foot flexed. Curl those toes back. And you might feel some opening here. Otherwise, you might be able to bring it in closer. Lift up that arm. Just put the knee into the crease of the elbow and the foot into the crease of the other elbow, and really hug your leg in here. So you're opening up the hip, but you're also probably feeling some opening across the glute. Keep the right foot flexed, curling those toes back. Again, you can still hold the leg with the hands instead. And if you want to change things, you can straighten that left leg. And maybe you even rock a little bit side to side, just to feel a little more opening here. Breathe into it. Allow the opening to happen. Good. And bend that left knee again. And just release this right leg. Straightening it, stretching it, just hovering above that mat. And then you can bend that knee. And let's do the same on the other side. So the hands can come just to the floor. And you want to bring that left knee in. And we'll do the same thing. Nice big circles here with the leg. Good. Just allowing a little bit of lubrication in the hip here before we come into more of an intense hip opener. Good. Bring the knee in close. You can hold that with your hand. Now open the knee out to the side a bit. Take the hand with the foot with your right hand and just bring it in closer. And you might just gently press that left knee away from you. So stay here if that feels like it is absolutely enough. Otherwise, you might hug the leg in a bit closer. Keep this left foot flexed, curl the toes, and maybe you can bring the arm around the knee and the other arm around the foot. Keep those toes curled back, and then you can pull that leg in and maybe rock side to side. Maybe you even straighten the leg to get into the hip a little bit more. Just go to whichever spot feels the best for you. And let's just really breathe into this area, feeling a nice opening in the hip. In the glute. Ooh, yes, it's good. Good, breathing here. You can re-bend the bottom knee, and then let's release the leg, hug the knee, and stretch that leg along the mat. Just breathe here, press through the heel so you can feel some opening, and then bring the knee back. Excellent. And we're going to just drop over to our sides on the right side, and then see if you can just rest your head in your hand, and we're going to straighten the legs. So you have to keep some balance a little bit. So use your left hand in front as a little bit of a kickstand to hold yourself here. Now you're going to root down a little bit through that right elbow and the left hand. Keep yourself nice and strong. And then we're going to lift both legs off the ground. So you're working the obliques here on the left side. Make sure you keep breathing so nothing gets too tight, too intense. But holding, 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 breathe. You're reaching through the feet. Good, 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 good. Nice. Now take the legs down, bend them. Bend that left knee across, and you're going to open up into a twist here. So really reaching that left hand behind you. It may or may not touch the floor. It doesn't matter. You're just really feeling some opening here. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Reaching back. Nice opening in the hip. Good, and then come on back to where you were. And you might be able to just roll onto your bellies and over, or sit up and switch to the other side. So coming down, leaning into your hand. And you know what? If it's better to have your arm down on the ground, then do that. That doesn't matter. So have your right hand in front of you so you've got some good stability, and straighten those legs. So find this little balance here, because if you let go of your hand, you can find you're rocking around a bit. Find the stability, and then press down and lift the legs up again on this side. And you might be feeling it now in the right obliques. Keep breathing, keep reaching through those feet. Breathe, 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 lengthening, really working the side of the core. Nice. Whew, good. And bend the knees. Bring the right knee across a bit. Come down and open up that right arm behind you as far as you can reach, so you come into this nice twist on this side. Breathing. Hopefully you can look over your right shoulder a little bit. Just allowing everything to drop down and twist, and get into that right hip a little bit to open up. Great. Nice. Feels good. Awesome. So bring your knees back. Come on up to a seated position. And we're just going to take our legs out front. So you can just shake things out a little bit. Roll the shoulders. Nice. And we're going to come into a little bit of a forward fold, but we're going to try a little bit of a challenging way to get there. So legs are engaged, the toes are pointing up. Let's take the hands just to the outsides of the legs and lift up through the center. Good. Now you're going to press through that right heel and lift the leg up. Good. So hold yourself up a little bit. You're probably feeling it right here. Then take the foot down. We'll come into the forward fold in a second. Press through the left heel, lift up the left leg. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then take the foot down. Good. So we're going to do that again, but we're going to add to it. So press through the heel, lift up the foot. You're going to place the Achilles basically on the toes. Lift yourself up nice and tall, and then bend your elbows to come forward. Good. So feel the length here. You might be able to walk the hands a little bit more forward. Keep breathing so you still keep length on the inhale, and then maybe deepen a little more on that exhale. If you want, you might even be able to take your hands to your foot, but not necessary. You can keep them on the floor. Just keep breathing here, lengthening and deepening. Good. Lengthening and deepening. Awesome. Let's lift ourselves back up. Now, lift that foot up beyond the toes. Take the foot down. And you can just roll the ankles a little bit and move around. Okay, so before we go to the other side, we're going to do a little bit of a twist. So we're going to reach the left hand forward, and you're either going to take the hand to the outside of the calf, or perhaps you can hold on to the foot. Okay? Now, with your hand on your hip, inhale, lift up, and open the heart to the right. Okay? Taking that elbow back behind you, and maybe you take the gaze over the right shoulder. Breathe here. Good. If you want, you can add that hand reaching behind as well. Try to keep the feet together and even. Sometimes you can get a little bit out of balance here. So if you kind of press the big toes in towards each other, you know they're even. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Good. And then come back to the front and just shake out the legs again. Okay, same on the other side. Let's press through the left heel and lift the leg up. You're going to place the Achilles onto the toes of the right foot. Let's lift up nice and tall and lean forward, bending the elbows and leaning forward. So it's not about how far you're going, right? You just go as far as you can. So you can keep your hands close to you. You can walk them forward. You might be able to take them to the foot. But let's think about that breath again. Inhale, lifting, and then exhale, leaning towards the leg. Lengthen, inhale, exhale, deepen. Inhale and exhale. Good. And then lift yourself back up again. Walk those hands back. Before you release, you got to lift the foot up and then take it back down. And again, rotate the ankles, move the legs a little bit. And let's come into our twist. So the right hand now will come to the outside of the leg, or you can hold on to the outside of the foot. Keep those feet together. Think about those big toes staying together. Left hand to the hip. Lift yourself up. Open the heart to the left. And if you can, take that gaze behind you. Breathe here. Feel the opening. Feel the twist. Good. And if you want, you can challenge yourself by reaching back with that arm. Nice. Stay nice and open here. Breathing. Good. And then come back to the front, and again, just shake everything out here. Nice. Okay, we're going to roll over into tabletop just for a moment. Tuck our toes. Let's come back to downward dog. Let's drop the heels, bend the knees, and just slowly walk those hands towards the feet. Keep the knees bent, drop your head, and we're slowly going to roll all the way up to our standing position. So up to mountain pose, rooting down through the feet, lifting up through the legs and up through the top of the head. Good. Now let's take our hands to our hips. We're going to come into tree pose. So this is a balance. You might want to be a little bit closer to a wall. From here, you're going to root down through that left foot. Lift that right heel. You might stay there. You might slide the foot to the calf. And this means you want to open up this right leg a little bit. So keep lifting up. Or you might be able to really lift that foot up to the thigh, bringing your hands to heart center. Good. Keeping that focus in front of you to hold your balance. Breathe here. Good. Now to challenge yourself more, you might want to lift your arms up overhead, reaching but rooting down at the same time. And then opening up the arms, opening the chest, and maybe even lifting the gaze. That challenges it again. Reach, stay open, stay grounded and rooted. And let's bring the arms back up, hands back to heart center, and then take them down, take the leg down. Ready for the other side. So coming back to mountain is a good place to always return to. So root down through the feet, lift up through those legs, hands to the hips. Rooting down through the right foot, turn the heel in and slide to the calf. This is a place where you can just make sure your knee is opening and that your focus is in a good place where nothing's moving. And then let's take that foot up to the thigh. Good. Holding here, maybe taking the hands to heart center and breathing. Good. Nice. And then if you want to add the arms, you can lift them up and open, lifting the heart, lifting the gaze, reaching out through the arms, breathing here. Good. Nice. And then let's bring the hands back overhead. Take them down to heart center. Good. And then release the arms and the leg. And just swing a little side to side. Good. Okay, so from here, let's open up our feet a little bit more. We're going to come into Trikonasana, triangle pose. And if you need a block, you can use it really nicely in this pose by placing it on the inside of your right foot. So let's turn the left toes in and the right toes out. And if you have that block, you can place it now. We're going to open up our arms and we're going to lean over to the right. So the right hand might just come to the inside of the leg as you lift the left arm up. You might slide it down to the ankle, maybe the toe or the floor or the block that's there. And just see if you can think about taking this left hip back and lifting the rib cage up, lifting up the arm if you can, and then maybe taking that gaze up to the hand. Press into the right big toe and the back heel, opening up the torso, the heart, and breathing. Good. Nice. Now take the gaze forward again and lift yourself back up. And we're just going to switch to the other side. So turn the right toes in, left toes out. And same thing, lean over to the left. Hand can be at the shin, the ankle, the floor. Reach that arm up. Open up here in the hip and the torso. So lift that rib cage up. And maybe you even take the gaze up to the hands. Breathe here. So try not to sink down into the shoulders at all. You're really lifting up towards the ceiling. Good. Now from here, we're going to look down. We're going to bend that front knee, lift the back heel, and just come down. So you're kind of in a tabletop position, but tuck your toes. And we're going to just lean back slightly here. So, sitting on the toes for a moment, you might be able to lean back a little bit more, which really gets into the feet here. Good. Breathing. If that is going to be too much, you might just have your hands forward. But see if you can just play with a little bit of opening in the feet. Feels good. Good. Now come forward and just tap out the feet a little bit. And we're going to come up to a kneeling position, hands on the hips. And feel free to have your hands right beside here with the thumbs behind, or you might have your hands at the bottom of the back with the fingers pointing down, or you might even have them with the fingers pointing up. So whichever works for you. Now, you're going to be solid in the feet and the knees. You're going to lift up nice and tall. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, and then just take those hips forward slightly. So you're coming into a bit of a back bend, into the opening of camel. So take those hips forward, lift the heart. You can keep the gaze forward, or you might be able to lift the chin and reach the gaze up to the ceiling. And breathe here. Nice. Opening up the front of the body. Good. Now let's come up again. Let's tuck those toes, and yes, lean back again. So you might be able to just pull those baby toes out and stay here, or maybe a bit forward if your feet are screaming at you. Or if you're a little more open in the feet, you can lean back and get some nice stretch in the fronts of the legs. Good. Let's come forward again. We're going to come back into that camel position. Just tap out the feet and lift yourself up to kneeling. And then maybe you can change where your hands were to come into this back bend again. So maybe if your hands are on the side, you can take the fingers pointing down, or you can switch and have the fingers pointing up. Now let's lift up. Lift up through the heart. Open the shoulders, squeeze those shoulder blades. Good. And you're engaging the glutes slightly as you take the hips forward. Good. Lift the heart. Lift the heart up. You can keep the gaze forward, or lift the chin, lift the gaze. And maybe you go a little farther into this back bend. Now inhale. Exhale. Just keep the breath going as you enjoy the opening of the front body here. Good. Come on back up. And you can take the hips right back down and come into child's pose. So drop your head and take the hands behind you and just let the head rest on the floor or a cushion or a block, whatever you have nearby. Breathe nice and deep so you really fill up the rib cage and the whole torso area. Good. Breathing here. Nice. Good. Come on back up. And just come over into a seated position. Good. Shake out the legs a little bit. And we're going to roll down onto our backs. Back to where we were at the beginning. So bending the knees, feet on the floor. Good. And we're just going to pay attention again to our breath. So let's take our hands to our bellies. We're going to take a nice deep inhale. Nice long exhale through the mouth. Now we're going to spend a little time holding the breath. So nice deep inhale through the nose. And hold here. Nice long exhale through the mouth. And hold here. Inhale through the nose. And hold. Exhale. And hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. And release that breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And allow yourself to just sink down into Shavasana. So now you'll probably notice the breath slowing down, just coming back to a regular rhythm. Notice the release in the body from the head all the way down to the toes. Sink down, settle in, and take some time for rest. Thank you again for joining me. Have a great day. Namaste. Stay well, everyone.